Hello, YouTube, knife enthusiasts and valued viewers. Byron at Splitting Slices. Welcome back to the Knife and EDC channel. Today is a thankful Thursday, August 6th, 2026, and that means it's time for both a thankful Thursday video as well as the last and final knife that I received at the Ace Bluegrass Hardware Store in Richmond, Kentucky. Now, this was at the 2026 Case Forged in Freedom tour event that was held early June, and I participated, went down there. It's about a 2-hour drive from here in Indianapolis. Went down, spent the day, or at least the morning, from about 8 to 1 with them, and just had a great time. There were probably 100 to 150 people there. We participated in all the events like bingo, free food and drink. We had a silent auction of quite a few different objects, including merchandise, knives, leather slips, you name it, it was in there. And then we had a charitable auction where some high dollar value items were auctioned off, with all the proceeds going to the Children's Miracle Food Network. So we had a good time. But I want to thank John, the knife guy, who has his own YouTube channel, for hosting the event, along with the Case factory staff members that were there as well. This is a silent auction knife that I won as part of those silent auctions, and it's from a company called Reeds Cutlery. Now, as I understand it, the company now goes by the name R&R Outdoors. Now, that stands for Reed and Rourke, because several years ago, Jason Reed's son-in-law, Aaron Rourke, joined him with the family business, and now they both end up running the local knife shop and basically participate in merchandise and knives and EDC sales there at the store. Now, I have never been to Booneville, Kentucky. As I understand it, it's about an hour east of the I-75 Barrera exchange, but west of Hazard. So one of these days, I'm definitely going to go by and check out the store, and maybe we can do a small interview, or at least a YouTube short or a long video with Jason or Aaron. I think that would be fantastic for the channel. So what we have here is model number Reed 99-BN Stag. This is a bone stag traditional slip joint knife, and is called the Thunder Jack. Now, they make this knife, I think, in 3 or 4 different configurations, and then I understand that they may have made a larger knife called the Rail Splitter. I am not sure if that knife is still in production or not. I could not find one on their website for sale, although it was listed as an older model. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to pause the video. I'm going to get into this tube, get the knife out. It fits pretty snugly inside this tube. So I'm going to spare you those details. We'll come back and then we'll talk a little bit about the knife and some of its specifications. Stay tuned. All right, so we got this Bone Stag Thunder Jack out of its carton, and let's take a look at this beauty. I really do enjoy this knife pattern. Now, this is a jackknife, so both blades, a clip point blade of about 3 inches long with a 2 3/4 inch cutting edge is the main blade. It has that fuller nail nick that runs all along the spine, at least halfway down the blade, and then a nice trailing point clip point or tip on that blade. If you notice, this has a mirrored polish finish. Now, this may be stainless steel, but I think these are high carbon blades. I will need to double check. There is no markings on the carton or on the knife or on the website, so I am unsure right now of what the actual steel is on these, but either way, the knife has turned out wonderful as far as being a sharp and a nice jackknife. Now, if you take a look, you can see that I think we have done a laser etch, and I'm going to call it a background etch. So in other words, they went through and laser etched the entire blade surface except for the parts that they wanted to have the mirror polish finish, which is the original finish. So there you can see it says Thunderjack and then has a logo there on the blade. And it's a little hard to see clearly in the light, but there is a logo there, and that may be a Reeds Cutlery logo. All right. If you also can see that there is a tang stamp that says Reeds Cutlery on this side of the clip point blade. And then we turn it over and there are no markings on the clip, no swedge, flat ground. And we also have a penknife blade, which is kind of a modified, canted slightly upward spear point. All right. And that blade length on that knife is 2 1/8 inches long, or 2.5 inches long, pardon me, with a 2 1/8 inch cutting edge. All right. We have a 1/16 stock thickness on the pen blade, and we have a 3/32 stock thickness on that clip point within a distal taper down to the tip, about halfway down that spine there at the peak. All right. So those are your two blades on the knife. Now, half stops on them, which makes it nice. Nice walk and talk. All right. And we have a nickel silver finish on the head square bolster with two birds. Looks like laser etched into the bolster. And then we have the round pommel or tail bolster on this knife. We've got a 4-pin brass pin construction holding the scales on. And then we have that light brass 12 gauge slug shield that says 12 gauge on it. And then it also says Reeds Cutlery as a shield logo for the knife. So really cool looking knife, beautiful Stag scales with a corncob type jigging in those scales. Nice brown die work with a little toasting there, and then goes more toward the natural Stag color at the transitions at the bolsters. Nice smooth transitions at the bolsters on both sides. So both the jigging, the bone work, and the transitions were all done very well on this. Now, I don't know if they actually produce these in their shop. My guess is they have probably worked with an OEM such as Behr & Sons or, say, GEC. I am unsure of the actual OEM of these blades. But as I understand it, they do have a small shop as part of their store. So they may actually do some of this work, or did at one time. And these are older models. Now, again, I've noticed that they have 3 or 4 different configurations of the Thunderjack for sale, but it doesn't look like they have all that much stock. So I don't know, again, if these are older knives that have been sitting on the shelves for a few years, or if these are actually in production today. I will try to find that out and give you more information, maybe in another video, or like I said, I'm going to do my best to maybe make a trip there, and maybe we can do a small interview and get some of these questions answered. So there you go. But just an overall nice manufactured, well done knife. And yeah, I am very happy that I had a chance to bid on this and that I was able to win one of these. There were 4 or 5 of these knives up for silent auction. I think they had one of each of their configurations, and I was lucky enough to get the one marked Stag. So now this does look very similar to the brown bone picture on their website. So I don't know if that was a mismarking on, somebody put the wrong knife in the wrong labeled tube, or if this indeed is the Stag. Either way, I think it's a fantastic looking knife, and I am glad I got it picked up. Overall length on this when open is 7 1/8 inches long. The closed length is 4 1/8 inches, and we've gone over the blade profiles and styles on this. Of course, those are mirror polish finishes on those. Each of those blades had a sharpening choil too, which is unique for a traditional slip joint knife. Not a lot of them have sharpening choils, but this one did, on both blades nonetheless. All right, now the total weight on this knife is 4.3 ounces, so, for the size of the knife that it is, and with having brass liners, 2-layer, and you can see the spring thickness differences there too between the pen blade and the main clip point. This is not a bad overall knife weight for a medium-sized traditional slip joint, almost really the length of a large trapper. So, yeah, I think this is pretty decent for a 4 1/8 inch traditional slip joint 2-layered knife. All right, well, that's going to do it for me today. I did want to show this off, though, because I am very happy I picked this up. It has some very nice features to it, and may have to pick up a couple more of these Thunder Jacks, and maybe even that rail splitter if it is available. That's going to do it for me today, Byron. It's Splitting Slices saying, please split a slice with a friend soon. Enjoy your knives, and until my next video, everybody, please take care.